Everyone, welcome to our next video, and today we are going to talk about the control and coordination in plants. So without wasting much time, let's get directly into today's topic. In case of plants, the control and coordination are actually divided into two types. One is the instant response to stimulus and the other is movement due to growth. Now, instant response to stimulus, as the name suggests, is going to be very fast and instant. But in case of the movement due to growth, as growth is a very slow process, irrespective of the fact that it is a plant or an animal, the process is going to be slow. So first, let us focus on the instant response to stimulus by plants. Very good example to immediate response to stimulus is shown in the mimosa plant or the touch-me-not plant that we commonly call it. Now, what happens in touch-me-not plant is the leaves are always far apart from each other. But as soon as we touch it, if we touch the leaf, they will start to come closer and they will close themselves. So that is what is an instant or immediate response to stimulus. The moment you touch the plant, it changes its shape. Now, how does this happen? This is a very fast process and it is actually controlled by the movement of water. Heard it right, it's water, because water is such a simple substance but it has such a beautiful application. Now look at how it actually works. Now water will flow through the cells of the plant. Now how flowing of water through the cells of the plant actually help in its movement? So suppose you have, it's not you, a plant, the mimosa plant. This is a cell, then cells are connected to each other. What happens here? Water will actually start to flow from one cell to the other. So first this cell is filled up with water. So whenever a cell is filled up with water, what happens is the cell swells. Because of the swelling, there is a change in shape. As there is change in shape, it will result in movement of the plant. Now it not only happens for one cell, this movement, the water as it moves out of this cell and moves on to the next cell, this cell is now filled with water. As a result, this cell will get swollen. As the water has come out of this one, this cell will go back to its original shape. This process will go on. As it will move to the next cell, this cell will be filled with water. This will come back to its original shape as the water has come out, and this will now be swollen. So this swelling and shrinking of the cells of the mimosa plant actually help it to make a movement. As the cells swell and as the cells shrink, the leaves make a movement in a way that shows a response to the stimulus that has been provided. So it is a very beautiful but a very simple process that is utilizing water for controlling and coordinating between the different cells in the plant body. So it is a very beautiful process, very simple and very fascinating. Next is the movement due to growth. Here we have got an idea of how water is utilized. Now we will have the idea of how different chemicals are utilized for growth. But before we move into chemicals, first let us understand how some different modes of growth take place. As for example, in case of, let us take one example of a climber or a tendril. So what happens to a tendril is, a tendril always wants to grow by clinging onto the surface of some other plant. I draw a tree and try to show how a tendril is connected to a tree. Then what we get is, tendril will always grow by clinging onto the surface and swing around, give it a coil, and again it will start to grow and stay connected to the plant. So it forms like a spring and stays connected to the plant. So how does this happen? How can it form this coiling structure? Well, what happens is, it is a very beautiful process again. This is a plant, suppose the tree, this is the tree and this is the climber. Okay, so as the climber is trying to grow, it will touch the tree. The portion that touches the tree, that remains in contact with the tree, this portion will not grow. It will send a signal to the other portion which is away from the tree to grow. As a result, it will stay attached. It is going to grow like this. This portion will stay attached, so it will be there, but this portion will start to grow, to go around and again come in touch with different part of the plant. That part comes into contact, the one which is away from the plant will again start to grow. Again it will come in contact, this part will start to grow, that will come in contact, and the same process will go on and it can stay clinging to the plant. So another beautiful process where a touch to different part of the plant will actually instigate another part of the plant which is not coming in touch with the main tree to become longer. So if this part is connected to the tree, it will not grow. It will allow this part to grow so that it can move in a way that coils around the tree. Again, when it comes in contact with the tree, it will stop growing and it will allow this part to again grow and coil. So another beautiful process how climbers actually stay clinging to a plant. Now we will move on to how this actually happens. Before we go into the chemical aspect of things, first let us know a few terms which are very important, and those terms are actually trophisms. We have phototrophism, then we have geotrophism, we have hydrotrophism, then we have chemotrophism. These trophism means the direction in which the plant is going to grow. The direction depends on different factors, and these are the different factors. The first part, photo, geo, hydro and chemo. So as the name suggests, phototrophism means direction of growth of plants based on photo. Photo means light. So which direction the light is, that will determine in which direction the plant grows. Next is geo. Geo means earth. So if the plant is growing towards the earth or it is growing away from the earth, that will dictate by geotrophism. The next is hydrotrophism, and hydro means water. Water and direction of movement of growth for plant is determined by hydrotrophism. And the next is chemotrophism, and chemo means chemical. So how do this work? First comes phototrophism. So if you see that the shoot part of the plant, if this is the tree, it will always grow towards the sunlight. Light comes from the top of the plant, top of the sky, and here we have the root which is under the soil. The shoot part of the plant always grows towards light. That's why it is called positively phototrophic. This root part always grows away from the light. Hence it is called negatively phototrophic. So as this grows towards the light, it is called positive, and this is called negative as it is going away. Exactly the opposite case occurs in case of geotrophism. As geo means earth, the roots become positive because they are growing towards the earth, so it becomes positive. This is for photo, this is for geo. But what happens to the shoot? As it is growing away from the earth, it becomes negatively geotrophic. Hope I make sense here. As the plant is growing towards, root is growing towards the earth, it is called positively geo because geo means earth. And as the shoot part grows away from the plant away from the soil, it is called negatively geotrophic. So that is how the namings are given, whether a part of the plant is positively geotrophic or whether it is negatively geotrophic, whether it is positively phototrophic or whether it is negatively phototrophic. So in the similar way, we have hydrotrophism, where it is related to water. So if a plant moves towards water, it will be called positively hydrotrophic. If it moves away from the water, it is called negatively hydrotrophic. Then comes chemotrophism. So there are certain chemicals that actually instigate plants to grow towards them or grow away from them. So if a chemical causes the plant to grow towards the chemical, it will be called positively chemotrophic to that particular chemical. And if it grows away from that chemical, it will be called negatively chemotrophic to that particular chemical. So for different chemicals, there are going to be different reactions. So that's how trophism actually works. Now trophism will actually meet the growth of the plant. How does growth of the plant takes place? And here comes the most interesting part, or I must say the most important part of hormones. Hormones are one of the most integral parts of any organism, irrespective of whether it is a plant or an animal. So let's see how hormones play the role in the control and coordination of plants. Here are the 4 most important plant hormones that help in the growth and development of the plant and actually helps in coordinating the growth of the plant. So how do this work? Auxin is the first hormone in the list, and auxin is responsible for the elongation of the plant parts. So whenever you see any growth in any particular portion of the plant, suppose the tip of the plant which is growing faster and faster, that is because of auxin. Now auxin has a very interesting way of action. Now if we have heard about that experiment, that if you keep a pot of plant inside a dark room and allow only one source of light coming inside, you will see that the plant is growing towards the light. So how does this happen? Why does the plant grow towards the light? See how it happens. If you place a pot containing a particular plant and you allow some sort of light coming from this hole, you will see that the plant is moving towards the particular hole, means from where the light is coming. Now why does this happen? Why does this move towards the light? Well, that is because auxin plays the role. Now how auxin plays the role? Auxin will never be secreted in the region where there is light. It is always secreted in the region where there is no light. So whereas there is shade. So if the light is coming from this direction, it will be secreted in the opposite direction where there is shade. Suppose it is secreted here. What happens is, this portion which is away from the light, where there is shade in the plant, as the auxin is released here, this will actually instigate the plant to grow towards the light. As it will push the plant, a growth here will result in pushing the plant towards the light, and that's how auxin plays its role. It is always formed or released away from light towards the shaded region. Suppose light is coming from this side and auxin is produced here in the shaded region behind the plant. A release of auxin here will actually result in the growth of the plant in this direction, so that it can push the plant towards the light, and that's how auxin works. Auxin helps in elongation of plant. Second comes the gibberellin, and gibberellin is also similar to the function of auxin. Just a change is that gibberellin has more such functions. Auxin only helps in elongation of the plant. Gibberellin helps in the growth of plant, including flowering, germination of seeds, etc. Gibberellin is another growth hormone. Then we have cytokinin. Now cytokinin is the hormone that is responsible for cell division. Every cell division that takes place in a plant is controlled by this cytokinin. So the control and coordination of cell division is completely handled by the cytokinin. So if there is release of cytokinin, there will be cell division. If there is no release, there will be no cell division. Now comes another hormone which is often referred to as a negative hormone, because this abscisic acid actually results in stopping the cell division or growth of the plant. It is exactly opposite to these functions, where they actually allow the cell to grow or the plants to grow. Abscisic acid will actually prevent the cells to grow. Now why does that happen and why is it necessary? Why does the plant need a hormone that will not allow it to grow? Well, take the example of this. Suppose a part of the plant, suppose in a leaf, there is a bacterial or any fungal or any viral attack. So there is attack by certain microbe and the leaf is now under the pump. Now what will happen if there is release of this abscisic acid? It will stop the further cell division in the leaf. As a result, the cell will ultimately die and the virus or the bacteria or any sort of microbe that was growing in that leaf will not be able to transmit to the whole plant. So that is how abscisic acid actually prevents the plant from dying or from being affected by some sort of microbe. Further examples are that it stops overgrowth of any sort of organ. Suppose a part of the plant is growing and the growth is not stopping. In that case, abscisic acid will come into the action and it will stop the cell division that is causing by the cytokinin. So as it stops the cell division, the excessive growth of any sort of organ will not take place in the plant. So that is how these different hormones actually play a very integral role in controlling and coordinating the growth of the plant. So this is all about the hormones of plants and the control and coordination in plants. In our next video, we are going to talk about how animal hormones function, and that is a very interesting part because animal hormones result, I am giving you a small insight, that animal hormones are actually the reason why you feel sad or you feel happy or you feel exhilarated or you feel angry or any sort of mood that you have is actually controlled by the hormones, not plant hormones but rather animal hormones. So make sure you watch the next video, and until that, thank you for watching and cheers.